Good morning, students. This is a subject physical education for class 12th. Chapter number 7, lecture number 3. Name of the chapter is Physiology and Injuries in Sports. And we are also going to discuss the answers of questions from lecture number 2. Today we are going to start with a new subtopic, which is physiological changes due to aging. Before starting talking about the changes which occurs due to aging, we are going to understand what aging is. Aging is an inevitable and extremely complex multifactorial process. So it is a complex process and it have different factors in it. So it is a huge process. It is characterized by the progressive degeneration of organ systems and tissues. So what happened in this is that there is this progress, but that progress is not of an improvement, but of degeneration of different organ systems and of different muscles and tissues, etc. It is largely determined by genetics and influenced by a wide range of environmental factors such as diet, exercise, exposure to microorganisms, pollutant, radiation, etc. So, aging can be determined by an individual's living style, because each and every individual has a different kind of a living style. So it might be at what kind of an environment you are into, what kind of diet do you take, what kind of physical activities you do, or you don't perform any kind of physical activity. It can be genetic also. So each and every individual will start aging according to his or her own lifestyle. In fact, aging is a process of gradual changes in the body with the passage of time. These changes are noticeable usually after 30s. Aging in its broadest sense is a continuous and irreversible, means that it will continue throughout and you can't reverse it. If you are aging, that means you are aging, you just can't reverse it. Decline in the efficiency of various physiological functions. So the first change which occur due to aging is there is a change in the muscle size and strength. When an individual gets older, there is a decline in muscle size, there is a decrease in muscle mass and increase in overall body fat. Due to decrease in muscle size, the strength of the muscle also decreases. So as we have already talked about the muscular system, that when the size of a muscle increases or when the size of muscle is big, then the strength will be more. So as an individual is aging, his or her shape and size of the muscle will also decrease. The strength, because of the size decreasing, the strength will also decrease, and it normally happens after like the age of 35 or 45. However, even at the age of 60, the decrease in strength does not appear to exceed 20% of an individual's maximum strength. Point number 2 is changes in metabolism and body composition. So, with advancement of age, our body needs less energy and metabolism slows down. So, because after some point of time, we as an individual stop doing a lot of physical activities. Because, for example, if you take, then if we talk about students like you people, then you like playing out, going for sports and everything. But when we talk about a person who is of age 40, 45, will not be so much interested into going out and playing games and sports. And because here the physical activities becomes less day by day or gradually decreases, the body accordingly needs energy. For physical activity we need more energy, but if we are just sitting and not doing any kind of physical activity, that means we need less energy. So because the energy production reduces or the energy consumption reduces, that is why there is a slowdown in the metabolism process. Consequently, it is an increase in the accumulation of body fat and therefore the lean body weight decreases. The metabolic rate decreases gradually with the increasing age. It also results in more accumulation of body fat. Changes in bone density. With the advancement of age, the bone density decreases. It means that the elderly people, especially those over 40 years of age, are more prone to bone injury than young people. In fact, it is due to the decrease in various minerals such as calcium and phosphorus found in the bones. Bones become less dense and more porous. And why it is happening? Because we already had a word about metabolism process. Now if whatever we are consuming, it's not used properly, if the absorption of different nutrition are not done properly, that means there will be a deficiency of different nutrients. For example, we can take calcium and phosphorus, which is actually used for strengthening of the bones. But when there is this decrease in the metabolic process and there is this decrease or in the absorption or proper absorption of different nutrients, then the bone will become weak. That is why there will be these changes in the bone density. Changes in respiratory system. A number of research studies show that pulmonary function is impaired with advancing age. The airways and lung tissues become less elastic, they become less efficient. There is decreased oxygen uptake and oxygen exchange. The muscles of the ribcage become weak, hence the ability to breathe deeply is reduced. Now, now you just imagine the whole process of our mechanism of respiration, that when we inhale or when we exhale, there are a lot of organs which are used, then the ribs are used, the intercostal muscles are used. Now, as we know, because of aging, all these organs or different muscles of our body becomes weak, because of which we are not able to inhale or exhale that amount of air inside or outside as compared to when we were like at a age of 20 or 10 or 25, 30. So due to this aging process, because there are a lot of changes which happens in the organs which are related to respiratory system, or the muscles or the bones which are related to the respiratory system, or the chest muscles, that is why there is this decrease in our respiratory system's efficiency. The next point is changes in cardiovascular system. With advancing age, there is a progressive decrease in the cardiac muscle strength. That means the heart muscles becomes weak, because of which the stroke volume, cardiac output and the blood flow decreases. There is also a decrease in the elasticity of the blood vessels, because of which the systolic blood pressure increases, because there will be more pressure on the arteries. Then there will be reduced in the blood flow, as again because the blood flow is reduced, then less oxygen will be provided or transferred to different parts of the body, because of which there will be an increase and decrease in the endurance. There is less nourishment to cells of body, heart walls become less flexible. Next point is changes in nervous system. A number of research studies indicate that reaction time and movement time slow down with increasing age. The brain weight, the size of its network and its blood flow decreases with age. So the way we react towards the different stimuli, the way we have this movement time from moving from one place to another, or from, for example, if you are sitting and then you have to get up and then move. So all these things, like how you are reacting, how you are moving from one place to another, slows down, because there is a decrease in the efficiency of your nervous system. The weight, the size of the brain decreases, plus its network. That means we are talking here about the neuromuscular system, or the coordination also decreases. Next is changes in the gastrointestinal system. With increasing age, there is a reduction in the production of hydrochloric acid, digestive enzymes and saliva. These changes may result in delayed emptying of stomach, impaired swallowing. The breakdown and absorption of food may also be impaired. The liver becomes less efficient in metabolizing drugs and repairing damaged liver cells. The next point is changes in urinary system. So as we grow old, the mass of the kidney decreases, which again leads to the efficiency of kidney. It also reduces the blood filtration by the kidneys. The capacity of bladder decreases. We are, or an old age person is not able to hold on to its urine for a longer period of time. Then there is this decrease in the residual urine, means more of the urine will be left behind in the kidney when it passes by. These changes increase the chances of urinary infection because for a longer period of time waste products stays behind in the body. With increasing age, it takes a long time for kidneys to get rid of the waste products. These substances tend to remain in the body for a longer period of time. Point is changes in flexibility. The elasticity of tendon, ligament and joint capsules is decreased with aging. The elderly person lost 8 to 10 centimeter of lower back and hip flexibility according to the research study. The range of movement is restricted as the age increases. So as your age increases, the joints also become weak, plus the elasticity of your tendons and your ligaments and your joint capsule actually decreases, because of which the flexibility also decreases. 10th point is about the changes in senses. It might be your vision or your hearing, your taste, your smell. So we are going to start with the change in vision. Visual impairment is the most common sensory problem in aging. In 40s, the pupil begins to decrease in size and responses to light. The lenses in the eye becomes less flexible. The change in vision can affect the ability to drive safely. Retina becomes less efficient. The lens of the eye becomes yellow, more rigid and slightly cloudy. Next is your changes in hearing. Hearing loss is common in aging. The sense of balance weakens with aging. The older people may complain of dizziness and find it difficult to move quickly from one place to another without getting disbalanced. Tinnitus is more common among older people. Tinnitus is a problem in which you keep on hearing this buzzing sound or the ringing sound in the air. Next point is changes in taste. So taste also diminishes with the growing age as the number of taste buds reduces with aging, and as your taste bud number decreases, an individual who is aging might also have this loss of interest in eating food. Next point is change in smell. After the age of 50, the sense of smell decreases rapidly. As a matter of fact, the number of functioning smell receptor in the upper sinus decreases. So these all were the changes which come to you because of aging. Now, if you can relate it, you might have seen what all improvement were there or what all effects of exercise were there on different systems of our body. All those systems actually starts degrading when there is aging. So whatever you have learned before, you just have to reverse it and then understand how aging actually works or what all changes come because of aging. Now we are going to start with the next subtopic, which is sports injuries, classification, causes, prevention and treatment. So first we are going to start with soft tissue injuries. There are 7 injuries which we will be talking about: contusions, strain, sprain, abrasion, bruises, laceration and incision. The first one is your contusion. So contusion is a muscle injury. A direct hit with or without any sports equipment can be the main cause of contusion. So if you get hit by any of the hard solid equipment or anything, you may have contusion. Contusion can also be due to minor accidents to the skin, such as falling, bumping into something or being hit or kicked. Contusion is common in boxing, wrestling and kabaddi because all these are contact sports. In contusion, blood vessels in the muscles are broken and sometimes bleeding may occur in the muscles, which may cause bruises. The raised area of contusion is due to the accumulation of blood and fluid from the injured blood vessels in the tissue. Stiffness and swelling are common features at the site of contusion. Sometimes in such cases muscle fail to respond. In severe cases muscle become completely inactive. So the muscle become numb, though there is much more pain. There the body part or that particular area will be like very stiff and rigid. That is your contusion. Now the prevention. Warm up is essential before practice, training and competition. All the parts of the body should be exercised properly. Stretching exercises should be performed during warm up. Conditioning should be emphasized during preparatory period. Protective equipment should be used according to the requirement of the game or sports. Sports equipment of good quality should be used in games and sports. Playfield court should be smooth and clean. For preventing sports injuries, the complete scientific knowledge about the game is a must. Players should be careful and alert during practice and competition. Good officiating quality of official is must for preventing sports injury. Now the management or treatment of contusion. Cold compression should be used immediately. Ice or cold water should not be used for more than 40 minutes persistently. The cold compression should be performed 5 to 6 times daily. If there is more swelling at the area of contusion, anti-inflammatory medicine should be given. If the swelling still persists, consult a doctor immediately. For the purpose of rehabilitation, flexibility exercises should be performed carefully. Next one is our strain. So strain is a muscle injury. As you can see from the picture also that there is this inflammation in the muscle. So strain can be mild as well as severe. Sometimes the complete muscle can be ruptured. In case of complete rupture, it is not possible to move that part or limb. There may be severe pain around the rupture. Strain may occur at any time during the practice or competition. As a matter of fact, strain is caused by twisting or pulling a muscle or tendon. It can happen suddenly or develop over days or weeks. Over days or weeks means if you are using your particular muscle or there is this overuse of your particular muscle, then yes, you might have strain. A sudden acute strain is caused by recent injury like lifting heavy objects or rods in the wrong way and overstressing the muscle. Chronic strains are usually caused by moving the muscles and tendons in repetition. Now the preventive measures. So the preventive measure of all the injuries are kind of same. The first one is from the prevention point of view, every sports person should undergo a complete warm-up before participating in sports. Conditioning should be done during the preparatory period. Sports equipments must be of good quality. Playfield courts should be smooth and clean. Scientific knowledge of the game is must for preventing strain. Players should be careful and alert during the training and competition. Good officiating quality of official is essential during practice or competition. Players should discontinue to play during the state of fatigue. The next is your sprain. Now, sprain is a ligament injury, so you need to understand sprain is a ligament injury and strain is a tendon or your muscle injury. So from the strain there is T is like for tendon and tendon with muscle and sprain will be for ligament. It may occur due to overstretching or tearing of ligament. Many things can cause sprain. Falling, twisting or getting hit can force a point out of its normal position. It can cause ligaments around the joint to tear. Generally, sprain occurs at wrist joint and ankle joint. Sometimes fracture is also possible along with the sprain. In such injuries, swelling, inflammation, severe pain and tenderness are common symptoms. There can be laxity in the ligament. All the above mentioned symptoms depend on the severity of the sprain. So laxity means lack of strictness or care. Now the prevention. A thorough warm-up is necessary for preventing sprain, especially all the joints should be exercised well during warm-up. Second, proper conditioning should be done during preparatory phase. All the sports equipment must be of good quality. Playfields, court should be smooth and clean. Good officiating, quality of official is essential. For preventing such injury, rules of the game sports must be followed. Players should be careful and alert during the practice, training and competition. Players should not continue to play in case of fatigue. Always try to eat a well-balanced diet to keep muscles strong. Maintain a healthy weight. Try to avoid falling. Wear shoes that fit well. Wear protective equipment when playing. Try to run on flat surface. The next is the management of sprain. So there are two processes which are used for the treatment of sprain. One is your price, another one is your MICE. Price is also used for treating strain. So we are going to start price. Price stands for protection, rest, ice, compression and elevation. Protection. Protect the injured area of the victim from further injury by using a support or wearing shoes that enclose and support the feet, such as lace ups. Rest. It is very beneficial to have as much rest as possible in the early stages in order to allow the wound to heal. Avoid the temptation to move the injured part in order to see if it still hurts. So you don't have to just just try to check whether it is hurting or not. So you don't have to move it, to take proper rest. So for proper treatment, reduce the exercise and other activities completely and have complete rest. Now the ice. Ice should be applied directly on the area of injury as soon as possible. It reduces bleeding and swelling by slowing down blood circulation. It also relaxes the injured area by reducing pain. Ice should be wrapped in a wet cloth to prevent skin burns. Ice should be applied for 5 minutes in a small area and for about 20 minutes in the larger areas. Application of ice should be done for like 4 to 8 times in a day. To avoid cold injury or frostbite, do not apply ice for more than 20 minutes at a time. When the ice is removed, the skin should look pale. The color of the skin should be pale. On the other hand, if it looks more red, that means the ice was applied for too long. Now the compression. Compression of an injured ankle, knee or wrist helps in reducing the swelling as well as the bleeding. If you got hurt and it is bleeding or if there is swelling, so if we use this compression, then both will be reduced. It is the best applied using a firm pad over the site of injury with a strap around it to hold it in the place. Compression should not be applied around the whole limb because there will be problem in moving the hand or moving the joint. So the whole limb should not be covered with some strap or something, but only the injured part should be covered. The compression should not be applied very hard as it may hinder blood circulation. This is elevation. If possible, keep the injured ankle, elbow, knee or wrist elevated on a pillow above the level of heart to reduce swelling. So why are we elevating it? Just because the blood circulation will reduce a little bit, and because of that there will be reduction in the swelling as well as in the pain. Now the MICE procedure. Once the signs of inflammation have gone and heat and redness are reduced, the MICE procedure should be followed until the injury is healed. So MICE stands for mobilization, ice, compression and elevation. Mobilization means it can be started by taking the injured part through its full range of movement. Such movement should be avoided that cause pain. This will prevent wasting of the muscles through lack of use. If any movement is done easily, then try to increase the range of movement gradually. If the basic function of the injured part has been restored, start more exercises. It usually takes time for the injured part to get back to its normal strength. So only light and simple exercises should be done at first. If pain is felt, During exercise, the exercise should be stopped immediately. If the pain disappears within 20 to 30 seconds, the exercise can be continued with caution. So what you have to keep in mind is that mobilization can be done after all your redness, your pain and that inflammation reduces. So you can slowly and steadily start with simple exercises so that you just don't keep your particular injured part all rigid and stiff. So you can slowly and gradually start light exercises so that some of the mobilization can be done. We have already discussed ice compression and elevation, so we are not going to discuss it again. The process is obviously the same as it is used in price. The next injury is your abrasion. Abrasion is just a rub off of your skin because of the friction. It normally occurs when you get some drag off because of some equipment or fall over some hard surface or rough surface. It may occur in many games and sports like athletics, football, hockey, basketball, where the surface areas are rough, they're not smooth. It is less severe than laceration and bleeding though. We'll talk about laceration. Mild abrasions are known as grazes and scrapes, so please underline this in your books. They do not bleed, but deep abrasion may lead to bleeding. Now the prevention, again the same preventions are there. For example, you need to have a good warm up and conditioning of your body, good sports equipments to be used, good officiating is to be done. Players should be careful and alert during practice and competition. Players should follow the rules and regulation of the game, wear protective gears and equipments. One should try to cover the exposed skin with layer of clothing. Don't push your body beyond your current fitness level. Learn the correct techniques before taking part in sports. Now the management. First of all, clean the affected part with fresh water. So you just have to clean so that the dead tissues or gravels or any kind of dirt is, if it is still stick there, so you need to clean it off. Use clean as well as sterilized gauze to wipe the dirt from the affected part. So it should be clean and sterilized. Do it very gently so that the abrasion does not hurt much. So you need to do it very gently and properly. Then dry the affected area with clean piece of gauze. After that, apply medical ointment so that proliferation of bacteria does not take place. Use enough ointment so that it does not stick to the abrasion. Use a big piece of gauze for dressing. Next, then visit a doctor for proper dressing and tetanus injection, which is required to prevent the wound from causing an infection. The dressing should be changed as per the instructions of the doctor. Next is your laceration. So laceration is an irregular cut which occurs or happens due to a cut in the skin from a sharp object or sharp edged sports equipment. Such wounds are not smooth. Bleeding is less from such wounds. These wounds may be very poisonous. Usually rough marks remain even after the treatment. Now the management of laceration. First of all, you should control bleeding before anything else. To stop bleeding, put pressure directly on the laceration while holding it above the level of heart for 15 minutes. If you are unable to stop bleeding, try to use pressure points. Once bleeding has stopped, wash the laceration with warm water and mild soap. If bleeding starts again, repeat the step 1. Assess to see if the laceration requires stitches. If the affected person requires stitches, take him or her to the doctor. After simple laceration, which do not require stitches, use antiseptic ointment. Cover the laceration with sterilized gauze and wrap with roller gauze. Clean the laceration whenever you change the dressing. Watch the infection and change the dressing regularly. Take painkillers if pain persists. This is your incision. So incision may also occur due to sharp edged objects of sports equipment for spikes, etc. Sometimes arteries and veins may be cut, so there a lot of bleeding is there. Now the management of incisions. If the wound is not deep, let the blood come out. In this process, germs also come out with the blood. Such wounds should be cleaned with iodine tincture or spirit. Then after placing a piece of cotton on the wound, the bandage should be applied. In such process, dirt should not enter into the wound. In case of excessive bleeding, the bandage should be kept tight. If the wound is too deep, a doctor should be consulted immediately. Now the homework. The question number 1 is, what do you understand by contusion? Question number 2, write the preventive measures for abrasion. Question number 3, what is the difference between sprain and strain? Question number 4, explain physiological changes due to aging. Now we are going to discuss the answers of questions from lecture number 2. Question number 1 was, explain the long-term effects of exercise on cardiorespiratory system. Answer, long-term effect of exercise on cardiorespiratory system are increase in the size of heart. When we perform regular exercise, the muscle of heart increase in size and strength. In fact, the left ventricle adapts to the greatest extent. The heart walls grow stronger and thicker. Point number 2, stroke volume increases at rest. Regular exercise helps in increasing stroke volume at rest. The stroke volume at rest remains up to 50 to 70 ml per beat in untrained individual and 70 to 90 ml beat in trained individuals and 90 to 110 milliliter per beat in the best endurance athletes. Next is strong willpower. Regular exercises increase the willpower of the individual. For example, pranayam, specific exercise for lungs, increase the willpower of the doer. Question number 2, explain any 3 effects of exercise on muscular system. Answer, effect of exercise on muscular system are, first is change in shape and size of muscle. Through regular exercise, the shape and size of the muscle is changed. In fact, cells of muscles are enlarged, which change the shape and size of the muscle. Point number 2, formation of more capillaries. When exercises are done, the color of muscles is changed because a number of new capillaries are formed for a better and efficient blood circulation. Point 3, muscle remains in toned position. When exercises are done on regular basis, our muscle remains in toned position. In fact, muscle remains under some degree of contraction. Muscle becomes firm and maintains a slight steady pull on the attachment. So this is the end of your lecture. Thank you.